Hey everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's Taboo Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about anxiety, how I'm dealing with my anxiety at the minute, like how it's affecting my everyday life, and just a bit about my experiences, how I'm coping, and answering some of your guys' questions relating to anxiety and myself. So let's get straight into it. I'm not really sure where to start off with, but I'm sure I'll be able to go off on a tangent once I'm into this, because it does make me a little bit nervous talking about it, as it's obviously a very vulnerable subject. Not a lot of people do talk about it, especially on a personal level, and I feel like people can come for me, and a lot of people out there still don't believe mental health exists, which is the most incredibly ignorant thing I've ever known. Actually, I don't think it's understandable. There's just so much proof that mental health exists, and one of the main things is suicide, like suicide rates, and it baffles me that people still don't believe mental health does exist, because there is just like it hurts me a lot when people aren't very understanding. I know if people haven't been through it before, they won't know how someone who does suffer with a mental health problem, issue, disorder or anything, they're not really sure what it is or how to cope or how to empathise with other people, and I completely understand that. Like, it's obviously honestly a blessing if you've never had to go through anything mental health wise. Like, it's honestly, I'm so jealous of you, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously it affects quite a large majority of the population, I'd say, even if it is something a lot minor. But anxiety has been something that has really affected me over the past few years. I'd say my anxiety started not even at a young age like a lot of people. It mainly started towards the end of my secondary school time. So from like year 10 onwards, I started being more self-conscious, and I think that's what drives the anxiety, like being self-conscious and not knowing who you are in the world. And I know that sounds really philosophical and deep, but I just feel like I didn't know who I really was at that point in my life. And another thing that obviously didn't really help it was the shit that I went through in secondary school, like moving different friendship groups. Nothing was like sustained, like I was never in like a really comfortable place physically, so that obviously like affected my mental health. And from there, like, it sort of spiraled down, and I was getting targeted a lot, like towards the later part of school, like sixth form and stuff, and it really affected my mental health. Like, I can't explain enough. I feel horrible talking about it, because I know like people who love me, like my family and stuff, will be watching this, and it's probably hard to hear, like when I'm talking about stuff this personal and stuff that's been on my mind. But honestly, I was in the darkest of places, and if I didn't have uni to look forward to and be my end goal, I honestly don't know what I would have done. I was in like the worst place ever. I was just isolating myself because I thought my head like was telling me that everyone hated me. And yeah, I don't know, that is just one hell of a long story, and maybe one day I'll share the actual stuff that I went through, because all I say is that I went through stuff. But yeah, I will probably share that in the future if I feel comfortable doing it, because I know a lot of people who were involved in that are probably still watching my videos and hating me. So anyway, my anxiety then was just at an all-time high. I was barely leaving my house, doing anything. I just felt anxious to do everything, but it was mainly depression that actually affected my life at that point, at the end of sixth form. However, when I started uni, I was so terrified that my anxiety would start again, because obviously I'm going into a new environment, such an overwhelming thing, like starting a new life somewhere else. Like, everything is new, not just like the workload, my degree, where I'm living, what I'm doing, how to adult, like everything was just very overwhelming. So I was worried about that. But as soon as I got to uni, I settled in so quickly. I made some amazing friends, I met some amazing people, and I just loved the uni lifestyle. There was no need to worry. However, New Year came, and New Year is something that always triggers my anxiety, or just starting something new. That's why I was so worried about uni. Like, whenever the New Year comes around, like on the first day of the year, my whole body like starts shaking. Like, it's so strange, because I'm not even thinking, oh my god, this is a new year, this is a new start, it's new everything. I'm not even thinking that in my head. My body just reacts as if I've been thinking that way, and that seems so stupid, and I don't really know the cause of it because I'm currently experiencing something like this now, and it scares me because I don't know what's going wrong. I hate not being in control, as I'm sure everyone doesn't like that either. But yeah, so that's what started my anxiety up again. Like, I had a nice break from it from September to December in uni, and then it started again in January. I went to a couple of anxiety workshops and things that the university offer, which have been an absolute blessing. Like, I'd highly recommend Lincoln for their student wellbeing centre, and like helping you sort out problems and like basically providing you with a counsellor to talk about your feelings, thoughts, what's going on, and letting all those feelings out to someone who doesn't know anything about you, which is why I do want to start this up again when I go back in September. Yeah, the anxiety has been, then it sort of died down again towards the end of the year. I've come back home and my anxiety is probably the highest it ever has been. Like, honestly, it ever has been. I'm not depressed. Like, I think my anxiety seemed a lot worse last year because I was suffering really badly with depression as well as anxiety, but now I'm just solely anxious about everything. Like, I don't obviously want this to trigger anyone, and that because I don't want like my thoughts to go on to other people. Sort of have this feeling, I feel like everyone's out to get me. It's so stupid because there's a one side of my brain that's like, you're being so irrational, like stop it, and the other part of me is going crazy, like manic panicked mode, and saying like everyone hates you, because I think I'm in my hometown and I associate it with like negative vibes because of all the shit that happened. My body just hates it. Like, I barely sleep anymore. Like, I've got a serious problem and I don't know how to sort it. I hate that I don't want to rely on medication. Like, the doctors have given me medication to help me sleep at night, because of something that happened in Greece. I'll leave that video down below. I'll also leave the video about the anxiety workshop that I went to at Lincoln if anyone's interested about that, but I'll leave any related videos to this down below. But yeah, in Greece, something really awful happened during one of the nights to me and my boyfriend, and it stopped me from sleeping. I still can't sleep properly. The last 3 nights have actually been really good, like the best it has been, but that happened before, and then it just went downhill again. My mind isn't even playing games with me now. It's just like my body's natural reaction to going to bed. Like, it associates me going to sleep with the lights off with the thing that happened to me in Greece. I'm going to do a whole Taboo Tuesday on the reasons I can't sleep and blurt out of how I'm feeling that way, because I think that's something that's really affecting me right now and something that could potentially help others. But yeah, that's what's making me anxious, like the fact that I can't sleep, and then I'm waking up with sleep deprived, and then that's putting me on edge, and then I'm feeling all these anxious feelings. Like, it's just not a very nice thing to be going through. And I just think one of the primary reasons is being at home, and that makes it so sad because I love being at home to see my friends and family, but uni is the place where I just feel so comfortable, and my anxiety pretty much was gone. And I know that sounds so stupid because I never thought anxiety could go that quickly, but being in like such a happy place, I don't know if it's going to stay this way now because of the thing that happened in Greece, where it stopped me from sleeping. I don't know how I'm going to be on my own, because before I went to Greece I was happy to sleep with someone else, but I always was nervous sleeping on my own because I have nightmares every night and it just terrifies me, and I always want someone there to comfort me. But then after that Greece incident, I don't feel comfortable sleeping with anyone, so I can't sleep on my own, or with anyone I can't sleep, you know. So yeah, that's sort of triggered my anxiety a lot, and I sometimes just sit in my room, I'm like, oh, why is this happening to me? No one else is going through this, blah blah. But in my head, like, the other side of me, like I say, knows that I'm being irrational. I know that so many people every day go through similar situations to me, and just by reaching out you can make yourself feel better by knowing that someone else has felt the same way as you or is going through a similar experience. And I just want you guys to know that as well. I'm just gonna go through the questions now because I feel like that's giving you a bit of an insight into my current anxiety situation. And obviously I'm going to be doing like part 2s of things to do with my anxiety. I'm currently coping, I guess, by sort of trying to override these feelings. It's more difficult than that makes it seem, but honestly I've been just trying to sit back. Like, as soon as my heart starts racing and I start to have a panic attack, I literally breathe slowly, step out of the situation if I can. Like sometimes obviously you can't do that if you're fully having a panic attack, but if I'm just about to, I sort of try and slow my breathing down as much as I can and think rationally, and I sit there and be like, this isn't gonna last long, I'm gonna get through this panic attack, because I honestly, when I'm having a panic attack, I feel like I'm gonna die because I can't breathe. So I'm like, after this panic attack, you're going to be absolutely fine, you're going to move on, you're going to progress, you're going to make things better. Or I even try and snap myself out of the panic attack by putting a rational spin on the situation, because obviously the reason I have panic attacks is because I'm thinking of bad things that could potentially happen, or things that could go wrong, and I just sort of talk to myself in my head and say, this is silly, stop thinking this way, this is how you should be thinking instead. I don't know, that's how I've sort of tried to override the feelings at the minute. I'm sure there's many other ways that I will find out soon, and as soon as I know, I will be telling you all. Do you ever feel like anxiety is taking over your life and has control of you? If so, how do you stay positive, motivated, and put everything back into perspective to get out of that mindset? So, I mean, just what I told you, I guess. I do always feel like it has control over me, and that is something that really upsets me. However, like I said, by sort of trying to override it with positive thoughts, because I know one side of my head is being rational. Yeah, I don't know, that's how I'm coping at the minute to make my mindset more positive, is to just take a step back and try and override the thoughts with positive ones. Just a question about how to deal with busy spaces at uni, trains and clubs, especially because they make me feel super anxious and they're difficult to avoid at uni. Did your anxiety hold you back on nights out? If not, how would you tackle it so it doesn't? So I definitely say that big crowds can make me anxious at times. However, in freshers, I was just too drunk to even care about that, which is really bad. But even I have had times where I've been in large crowds and been panicked, but again, I sort of just try and override the thoughts. I'm like, I'm going to be out of this space very, very soon. This isn't going to last forever, and I'm going to be back at home in my bed quicker than I know. It does seem like it's the end of the world at the time, but I just try and put it into perspective, like this is going to just be, I'm just going to be here for another hour or whatever, socializing. I am having a really good time, but sometimes like crowded spaces can make you uncomfortable. Again, with trains, I've spoken about my anxiety with trains before, but the only way I overcame that anxiety was by going on trains more. And again, that is something very difficult, but you just have to sort of push yourself and challenge yourself to do the thing that makes you anxious. Otherwise, it's never gonna be improved. It's just shit that you have to do it to overcome it, but it's literally the only way. So yeah, you just have to push yourself and challenge yourself to do things that are out of your comfort zone. Otherwise, they'll never get over it, I guess. Did you feel like your anxiety would impact your life at uni and your ability to make friends? Well, yes, because I spoke about how I was nervous about it starting up again at uni, however it didn't. But I guess with ability to make friends, I sort of let the whole process go naturally. I was just literally, there was so much adrenaline and excitement of going to uni for me. There was no nervous feeling at all until the actual day. But I was never nervous making friends, I don't think. It just all came very naturally. Like, we all moved into our flat. We all started having like natural small talk chats, and it was absolutely fine. Like, I think it's something that a lot of people worry about, and they really shouldn't, because you will find someone, there's so many people at uni, you will find someone who is very similar to you. Even if they're not in your flat, not on your course, you will find them at some point. I promise you that, because there are so many people, you will find someone. Did your anxiety ease or get worse once you started uni? So at the beginning, it was so easy. Like, I felt like I didn't even have anxiety until the new year. So uni didn't make it worse though. It's just my own personal flaws, I guess. But yeah, university didn't actually affect it at all, which was surprising. Right, this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to stop it now, and I'm going to answer all the rest of your questions in a second anxiety talk. And I'm going to answer the rest of your questions in a second anxiety talk in a few weeks' time. If you do have any other questions that you want me to talk about or discuss regarding what I've talked about today, then make sure to comment them down below, or DM me if you want it to keep it anonymous or personal. Hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed today's Taboo Tuesday talk. Subscribe down below if you're new, and I will see you very soon for a brand new video. Bye.